there's a bit of a shakeup at the World Bank, and it may be just what the doctor ordered. Now, the doctor, of course, being the medically trained head of the bank, Jim Yong Kim. He's proposing some big cuts, Chris, and some efficiencies, and it looks like a good idea. What's going on?
Well, when he was appointed just over a year ago, everyone was worried that he wasn't a financial man. Normally they go for a banker.
He came over from Dartmouth. He was the president of Dartmouth, medically trained. And
exactly, but he's sounding exactly like a banker and a management consultant at the moment, talking about synergies, talking about cost savings. So he wants to slash about $400 million off the bank's budget. That would be about 8%. The really encouraging thing, I suppose, is not so much the money in itself. The bank has quite a lot of that. It's more trimming away layers of bureaucracy, trying to get the bank to coordinate. The big problem with the bank, of course, is that it takes so long to get the loans. There are so many strings attached, so many layers you have to go through.
And it also has competitors out there. I mean, we think of this as it's certainly not the lender of last resort. Who else is out there competing with?
Well, it used to have a really captive audience, and then of course, the likes of China and India now have access to capital markets. But you have a lot of these state development banks,
state development banks, private
the likes of the Gates Foundation. Now, to put it in perspective, Brazil's development bank now lends twice as much as the entire World Bank group, just within Brazil.
Okay. Now, this, of course, is coming against the backdrop of its sort of sister lender, the IMF, is opening its meetings in Washington, I guess, tomorrow, right? Kind of a bad time to be welcoming visitors to Washington, but tell us a little bit about what's going on there,
nobody likes house guests when you're having a domestic row, and that's exactly what the problem is at the moment, that you have finance officials from 188 member countries, the world media descending on the town, just at the time when the US Congress is paralyzed. But it does symbolize a deeper problem, because the IMF 3 years ago had a big reform package. It was designed to give more power to emerging market economies like China, like India. The US Congress has just simply not ratified it, so it hasn't gone ahead.
Congress is sort of showing it's not performing well domestically, it's not performing well on the international stage. What can we expect to come out of these meetings? Anything interesting, anything surprising?
That is a tough question. I think the big focus is probably going to be the World Bank reform package, trying to update this institution.
And what are the chances that these are proposed cuts, and cuts are always unnerving for people, especially who work at the bank. What has to happen? Are these sort of a slam dunk? Are they definitely going to be accepted?
Well, the World Bank is tough to reform. It has, as I said, 180 or so member countries, and many of them need to approve any reform before it goes through. I think cost cuts, though, are one that is usually an easy sell when the countries are footing the bill.
Okay. Well, we'll be watching that. We'll be watching the meetings with the IMF in D.C., and in the meantime, stay tuned for more Breaking Views tomorrow.